Dark Gem here from AnimezRUs for our first ever review of an anime. And as you've seen in our overview, which came up earlier this week, this is a Wolf's Rain review. Wolf's Rain was made 2004 by Fuji TV, and it stars Kiba, Sume, Hige, Toboe, and Blue as our four main wolves. And in this anime, wolves have the ability to turn and look like humans because they've been hunted to almost extinction. It follows our main character, Kiba, through when he entered the domed city, until he meets Hige, Hige helps him break out of, I wouldn't say prison, but out of a cage, and shows him that it is okay to look human, because if you don't, you're gonna die, pretty much. And then it skips over to Sume, who is with a huge group of humans stealing from the nobleman food and other supplies. One of his sort of friends is Gel, who in the first episode dies quite sadly, and it's kind of depressing. And then later you'll meet Quint, who is a wolf hunter, because he hates wolves because they killed his family. And with him is a half-wolf named Blue, or roughly half-wolf named Blue. And Blue doesn't know she's a wolf. And so it's pretty interesting, because you learn she's a wolf after Kiba, Sume, Toboe, and Hige break Cheza, the flower maiden, and the one that all of the wolves are trying to find, out of this, place. And they find Blue. And Cheza's all like, hey, you're a wolf, join us. And she's all like, but no, I can't be a wolf, I hate wolves. And it's just not good. Not fun times. And then, along with Quint the human hunter, there are also Hub and Cher, which used to be married, but they got a divorce because Cher works on Cheza. She is one of the people that are in charge of finding out what she's made of, which is flowers. Weird. I know. It makes more sense in the anime, guys, I promise. But in the first episode, Cheza, not the first episode, one of the first episodes, I think it's like 3 or 4, Cheza gets stolen by Darcy. I don't know how to say his name. Sorry, guys. Sorry, team. Because he's trying to get to paradise, which Cheza is needed for, to save his wife, Hamina. Hamina doesn't make it, guys. I'm very sorry, but Hamina doesn't make it. And Hamina's twin sister is obsessed with Darcy. The guy, the nobleman, who, as you learn later, has the ability to turn into a wolf because he remembered that humans were born from wolves. I know, guys, it's pretty weird. The lore behind it is incredibly detailed, but odd at the same time. And another sort of lone character that you see once or twice and never really see again, that's pretty important, is Lyra, which Toboe meets and kind of falls for in the second episode, and she has this bird that he wants to give back to her because she let it out so it could go stretch her wings and then come back to her. But he was like, I'm gonna bring the bird back to her, and she's gonna love me forever. And so he attacked the bird, but ended up killing it and giving it back to her dead. Which is unfortunate. Speaking of death, there is a lot of death in Wolf's Rain. A lot of death. The first real important death you see is Quint's. Quint is the hunter who ends up shooting at the nobleman because he just hates him, and he's like, screw you, you jerk, and shoots at him, but Toboe ends up getting in the way. So as Quint dies, Toboe is also dying and comes over to him because he was raised by humans and he just loves humans, and he's like, I'm gonna keep you warm, we're gonna be okay. But by the time the rest of the pack gets there, they're both gone, unfortunately. And it's quite sad, but the rest of the pack moves on from this. Except for Sume. He stays back to tell Toboe of why he has a giant X on his chest. Which is a very sad backstory that I think you should go look at yourself. Because this anime is amazing. But then, after Quint... Oh no, Cher dies before Quint. Yeah, no, Cher dies before Quint. And then Hub is like, I'm gonna go with you guys. And then meets Quint, and then Quint dies. And then Hub decides to continue with the wolves and Cheza to go find paradise, to see how far he can go. He unfortunately can't go very far and ends up falling, letting go of a cliff and dying. He just decided he couldn't do it anymore. And then after that, we see a big fight between the main bad guy, the nobleman, and the rest of the remaining pack over Cheza. And he ends up hurting both Hige and Blue viciously. So much that they can't go on. Kiba, not realizing this, went after him, continually fighting for him for Cheza. But then Sume catches up and finds them, and Blue has already passed on by then. But Hige asks him to put him down, and very reluctantly Sume does. And it's a very tragic moment, and you can just feel the feelings, and it's just sad. And then after that, you see Sume die, which isn't as sad as it should have been, because he really just says, I was never going to make it to paradise, go on without me, you deserve it, and just kind of dies. It's sad, but it happens. And then they jump into a volcano, which is frozen over, that has a frozen lake at the bottom. And the nobleman is like, this is where the opening to paradise is. And in the middle, there's this little pocket of water that hasn't frozen. And he's like, this must be paradise. But he's dying because he hurt Cheza, got her blood in his mouth, and her blood is poisonous to anyone who isn't protected by the flowers. Kiba, really. So he goes to the water, touches the water, and for some reason explodes. It makes no sense, makes much less sense in the show when you see it happen. And then the final piece of it is Cheza passes away and Kiba's left to himself. And then the world gets reborn and he's still in it, and it's wonderful. And he's walking through the streets of assume the modern day Tokyo, and he sees all of his past friends, but none of them recognize him. And it's sad. But that's where it ends, guys. So if you liked my review and you want to check it out, please do. It's an amazing anime, and I hope you enjoy.
Do with the